McGovern with Portraits of Atlanta, and today I am joined with Dan Thrailkill. How's it going, Dan?
What's up, Brandon? Everything's good. How you doing?
And I'm doing awesome. Excited to have you in here. I've been excited about this for a couple weeks having you here, so it's good to have you, man.
I'll try to live up to your expectations.
Yeah, well, you're certainly a big part of the community, so it's going to be a great conversation to have with you. And I just want to, I guess, start out by letting you introduce yourself to everyone.
Cool. Well, I am Dan Thrailkill. I am currently a resident of Woodstock, Georgia. Just outside of Woodstock, myself and my husband and family were in the process of adopting 2 kids through the Cherokee DFAC system. We live on about 4.25 acres between downtown Woodstock and Hickory Flat. I currently serve my community in several ways. Number one, I'm on the board of directors for In Woodstock, which for all intents and purposes is the city's business development organization and economic development organization. We do a lot in the city and outside of the city as well. I'm also going to be serving more on the sustainability committee for the city of Woodstock, and then also serve on the board of trustees for my church, Ebenezer United Methodist Church, which is kind of right between Woodstock and Roswell. Work for a company. We started our company in 2016, Front Porch Advisors. We do mostly human capital and community relations consulting for larger, smaller, and then smaller, larger companies. We try to focus as much as we can in our backyard in Cherokee County, North Cobb, kind of North Atlanta area. So is that good right now?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So with Front Porch Advisors, your company, how far out do you go? Is it beyond
as far as
Georgia?
Geography?
Yeah.
I've had a client reach out, a potential client reach out from, Alpharetta. I had one reach out from California, who just found us through our website and liked some of the content we had on there, liked our bios, and reached out with just a few questions. And, we decided it was not a good fit for our company, not a good fit for what he was looking to do. And I didn't have anybody to refer him to in California because I was kind of honestly surprised by the contact. But he was happy with our conversation. So we try to. Well, I don't want to say we wouldn't work with clients outside, but just because we feel that having communication in person is always the best way to conduct business.
Right.
We live in a technological age. It's great to be able to do Facebook and LinkedIn and email and video chat and all that fun stuff, but I still don't think any of that substitutes for in-person, shake hands communication. So, if it takes us 2 hours to go somewhere and shake that hand and do that, we'd be willing to do that.
Right.
But we haven't found those clients yet that are willing to pay us to travel down there and do that for them.
Yeah, most definitely. I understand. Listen, the goal, for us in real estate as well is to just, make sure we get in front of the client because I talk with my body language. So it's so important that I'm able to convey myself, visually as well as audibly.
That's pretty good. Audibly.
Audibly. So, it's a big deal. So your ideal client obviously is going to be right here in Georgia. So that's a wonderful thing to have. I know you're super involved in the community. It goes well beyond advising and serving on some boards, multiple boards you're on. What's made you become so involved in the community?
Honestly,
pushed you.
Yeah, well, I think it's honestly in genetics. My granddad was a small town physician in Sherrill, South Carolina, and that's for those that are geographically challenged or don't understand the small towns of the South. It's kind of between Columbia and Florence. Okay. He practiced there for over 50 years, and when he retired, he had a large amount of unpaid medical bills that he never collected on that we discovered when he was ready to retire because he served his community. When he died in 2010, which happened to be on the same day that I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1988, there were over 2,000 people that attended his funeral. Some were 3 generations of families that he had delivered, mom, daughter, and granddaughter.
That's amazing.
And then he made over 20,000 house calls. So I take a lot of my energy and kind of relation to my community from his mentorship and his example. My dad also just retired as a longtime Methodist minister. My mom was an elementary school teacher for over 30 years in the public school system in South Carolina. My sister is currently a practicing dentist in the Pickens area of South Carolina. So when I moved to Atlanta in 2009 and had a banking career and then got engaged and moved up to Woodstock, I like being close to large metropolitan areas. I like being able to have access to great health care and great other things, but I also like being able to interact and be a part of something really it's bigger than you, not to say something like religious or spiritual or anything like that, but it's fun to be able to see, your local community grow and change, and sometimes as a result of your actions.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it's fun to help shape that.
Yeah.
Because, when you look at Woodstock and Cherokee County as a whole, most folks, I would say, outside of Cherokee County or even maybe a little bit further south into ITP, into Metro Atlanta, would probably view Woodstock and Cherokee County and Canton and the surrounding areas primarily, kind of Fox News country. And that would be accurate. It's very accurate, but it's not always accurate. And the stereotype that gets associated with that, I don't think is a good stereotype. Because I'm gay, I'm married, I live in Woodstock, live in Cherokee County, a lot of other friends that are gay, a lot of other friends in the community, and nobody has a problem with us.
Right.
So I think there's a slow change going on in our area, and I don't want to say it's because of us, but I will say we're contributing to some of that. That there's a lot of younger folks moving into the area, and the demographics of the county and our area in general, Northwest Georgia, are kind of changing.
Oh, most definitely.
And I think it's changing for the better, and that kind of everybody's welcome.
Yeah, most definitely. And all these micro communities that are starting to form are really starting to take shape right now.
Microeconomies, that's one of my favorite words. I love it.
It's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, Woodstock has already been on the trend for, I would say, over a decade now. Canton is not too far behind them, and it's just continuing to spread throughout Cherokee County.
Yeah, I think, Woodstock, for all intents and purposes, is the social center of Cherokee County. It really is. We have more live music, more arts, dining opportunities for people to come out in. But, there's also some things that Woodstock hasn't done very well and could greatly improve on. But that's every municipality. Every municipality has their own challenges. Canton, as the county seat, has done an extremely good job about keeping professional services in their downtown community, which a lot of people complain about. But in reality, those are the types of jobs that support people being able to afford to live in their downtown municipality. So now if you go into downtown Canton, you'll see that there's more of an emphasis on social things. How do we get people into downtown? How do we keep them in downtown? And then how do we provide a varying array of economic opportunities, not only to earn income, but also to be able to live in downtown Canton? And that's what they're working on right now. So I think they've got a really good foundation. And then, man, you even look further north into places like Ball Ground.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Ball Ground, from what I see going on through the partnerships and friendships we've made in that area, man, they're learning from everybody. They're learning from Canton, they're learning from Woodstock, they're learning from other municipalities, and I think they're going to do it maybe better than anybody. And we'll just have to see what happens in 50 years.
Oh, it's going to be wild. I know that, Cherokee County has got plans to open up a new high school out there eventually, so the opportunity for growth out there and to do it correctly is there.
Portraits of Atlanta is sponsored by Select Realty. Select Realty is proud to present Honest Offers. Honest Offers is more than just an instant cash offer on your home. We let you know how much you profit when you sell by owner, traditionally, or a cash offer. With Honest Offers, you'll know which selling method is right for you, the way you want to sell. We're revolutionizing home sales with Honest Offers. Contact us at 770-509-0265 or go to selectrealty.com with 2 L's in the word sell.
It is going to be pretty amazing to see how they handle all the growth because, there's a lot of people already that are saying, hey, maybe Canton's a little too crowded. They're wanting to move out a little bit further. Yep. There's a lot of land left in Cherokee County. There's still 70% of land undeveloped in Cherokee County.
It's so funny because I have a commercial banking background, and before I left the bank several years ago, I always love to tell the story about one of my clients who was a very successful entrepreneur, owned a software business in the smack dab middle of Midtown Atlanta. He lived in Cobb County. He was originally from South Africa. I mean, he was like the prototypical Atlantan. He is not leaving ITP unless he's flying somewhere. Okay, never came out and visited me. I would always go visit him. And one day he called me, and I'm not going to try to do his accent because I'm not a good actor and will do a horrible job. But he said, Dan, I have this new employee. It's a software company. He had employees all over Georgia. They would come into the main office, a couple times a month for meetings and team stuff. And he said, I got this new employee. I think she might be up from your area, this new suburb of Atlanta called Ball Ground. And, this was in like 2014, 2015. So, and it's even developed more since then. So when a guy who's a successful, multi-million-dollar property owner in Midtown starts that we're on the map, and people are moving out there, so get ready for it.
Oh, most definitely. I see all these awesome new developments that are already coming in. They're sticking more to the trendy developments right now too, like with the smaller houses, right? We've kind of veered away from no yard, live in a mansion. Like people are okay with that.
Well,
smaller amount.
We're getting there. I don't think I think there's a trend, and there seems to be. I look at everything kind of from an economics perspective. We're kind of getting to the top of a bell curve. There's only so many 4,000 to 8,000 square foot micro mansions that are desirable from a demand perspective in Cherokee County. And I think the new demographic that's coming in is looking for something that's more sustainable, more affordable, don't want to take on a lot of debt in many cases because they already have a lot of student debt. So, and I think one of the things that I hear rumbles about in Cherokee County is looking at some of the building codes and changes so that, maybe we don't have to have a minimum residential, single-family detached residential structure square footage requirement of 1,200 square feet. Maybe they can even go something smaller than that. So I think in the next, 5 or 10 years, especially depending on what happens with the economy, I think you'll see that hopefully go lower. So that there can be a varying array of residential opportunities for people that want to come to the area to be able to live in the area, work in the area, contribute to the area, and kind of create the lifestyle they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's very hard to attain right now. Anything under that like $250 price point in Cherokee County, it's just really hard to come by. It's off the shelf and literally couple days.
Well, and it's scary, and you guys are the real estate experts. So, I mean, if I'm correct, we're now seeing in Woodstock. So, if you take townhome example A, and it's a price for it in Woodstock, you say take that same townhome example A and put it in Marietta, it's actually worth less in downtown Marietta than it is now in downtown Woodstock. And I've seen some examples of that. So, where you would mostly think that as you get closer to Atlanta, in general, real estate does get more expensive. But there's also some examples now we're actually seeing that real estate is actually more expensive further away from Atlanta, which is crazy in my opinion. Yeah. But we're getting there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few years.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that you're so involved with so many of these microeconomies here in Cherokee County, kind of giving that insight to local leaders. And, I'm excited to see what happens for sure. I want to circle back around, though. You mentioned this a couple minutes ago called Cherokee Gives. Can you explain to me a little bit about what that's all about?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different politics going on in and around the county. And, it's kind of representative of what's going on nationally. People are polarized into their corners of every conversation. But, whenever something bad happens, that's when you typically see people kind of rally. So about a month and a half or so ago, Jonathan Chambers, who is the current Director of Entrepreneurship for the Cherokee Office of Economic Development, he and his family moved up here, I believe from South Georgia, So he's been an integral part of kind of promoting the entrepreneurship community throughout the entire county. So he's networked himself into every municipality, and everybody has incredible things to say about Jonathan and what he's trying to do on behalf of our area. And his wife, Allison, who battled breast cancer a number of years ago, recently released on Facebook and kind of put it out there publicly that she had relapsed and was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and had it in multiple areas. And they've got 3 daughters. I believe I'm correct in saying all under the age of 8 or under the age of 10. They're all pretty young. And within, I'd say, probably 2 or 3 hours of this being put out publicly on Facebook, there were hundreds of messages that were exchanged from the owner of Reformation to the owner of Skyline Properties to other folks through various areas in the county, just all kind of coming together and asking the same questions of, what can we do and how can we help? So Joe, my business partner, spouse, and I got together with 2 other guys in Cherokee County who own a company called Half Machine. Their names are Jim and Drew. And we kind of all just sat down in a room together and said, what can we do here? All these people want to get together and do something. How do we unify this together? And we had already kind of scheduled an event, planned all this on the fly. Reformation got on board. Elm Street Cultural Arts Village got on board. And then we said, you know what? Other people in the county want to help too. So people are gathering in Woodstock. People are gathering in Ball Ground. People are gathering in Canton. So let's try to have multiple events within the same time frame, all going towards the same cause. And, I know there's no cursing on this podcast, so I'm not going to say what the original name of the organization was, but it's Cherokee Gives. We all want to give up, fill in the blank there. And that's actually what we created. Cherokee Gives a blank.
Yeah.
And we wanted people to be able to fill in, what do they give up for?
Right.
Do you give a pie if you own Pie Bar? Do you give a percentage of your loan closing? If you're a mortgage broker, do you give a beer if you're a Reformation Brewery? Yeah. So Cherokee Gives had an event this past weekend in downtown Woodstock. We had 4 bands, live musicians. We had a fire performer. Yeah. And all of these folks, I didn't reach out to any of those folks to say, hey, can you help us? They came to other folks in the community, whether it was us or someone else, and said, hey, we want to help. We want to do this. So all the musicians organized themselves. They talked to Elm Street. They got the sound system set up. And, I'd say we had several thousand folks in downtown Woodstock all giving up with everybody else. And believe it or not, we were also on 97.1 The River last Friday, thanks to the help from Spencer and the folks at Reformation. But we had that, and in a period of 3 to 4 weeks, we've raised. I'm going to throw this number out there. We haven't totaled everything up yet, but it's right around $30,000.
Wow, that is incredible.
And that's without necessarily going out soliciting for much of anything. Yeah. And then this coming weekend, we're going to have an event in downtown Ball Ground. The folks up there have organized themselves. Ryan, the owner of Barrel House Coffee Company, Dylan, the owner of the Ball Ground Burger Bus, Dominic with Dominic's Truck and Dine, the city manager. Folks are just coming together and saying, we will do this. We're going to organize this. Help us get the message out there. So, the goal is to help the Chambers family because Allie's treatment, and I should have said this in the beginning, is not being covered by the county's insurance policy. So they're going to need to come out of pocket by about $75,000 to make sure that we can try to give her another moment, another meal with her family, another vacation, something like that. So our goal is to raise right around that $65,000 to $70,000 number because they have already had some money come in through various ways, and all of our money is being collected by their church, Sojourn Church, which is a 501c3. Because we're an association, we are not an organization. Right. So we're not a legal nonprofit. We're just helping to get all these people together. So it's been an amazing thing to see, to be a part of, and the AJC. We don't want publicity, but I think it's a great example of how the kind of community we live in.
Yeah,
we're a county that wants to help, wants to give back, and
It's pretty incredible to see.
Must take care of people around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my prayers go out for the Chambers family. It's devastating news, but I feel like they're very lucky to have you, Joe, a couple other guys.
Well, they're
really stepped up.
They're lucky to have the community.
Yeah.
The community has rallied behind this, and we're not organizers. We're more facilitators.
Right.
Say, hey, this is what's going on. What do you want to do?
Right.
And then they say, we want to do this. We're like, great, go do that. Let us help you with that.
Exactly. Because everybody wants to help, right? They just don't know where to go to help. We need a little organization, I feel like. Sometimes.
Yeah, well, and instead of having one and one and one and one, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 makes a lot more sense. So when we take all these people together and we combine them into something, it develops into something much bigger. And this is kind of what's taking place. And honestly, it's a little scary. Yeah. It's a little scary to have all this happen, but it's been fun. I know it's been for a good cause and a good reason. And we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen after Allie's treatment's over with.
Yeah, that's my
because there's lots of folks that want to see this become something, and I think part of the cool part about this is it's been disorganized but organized. There's a mission to get people to rally around a cause, but we don't have a board. We don't have a lot of people saying, "Well, I want to do this" or "I want to do this," like you get on a lot of other boards. It's more just here's the cause. What do you want to do? Great, go do it. So, we're going to sit down with some other folks in the community after all this is said and done and the events are over. We're going to have an event in Waleska in August, likely an event in Holly Springs in July, and then Canton is rallying to get their event done as well through some of the folks up there. So, once all this is done and behind us, we're going to sit down and go, all right, what's next? Right. What happens with this? Because we've helped to create it, we've helped to grow it, and, what does it turn into?
That's awesome. I think it's wonderful to bring all these like-minded people in Cherokee County and beyond that are willing to help and continue to do so, even after the Chambers family hopefully recovers from their diagnosis. So I can't say enough about, the awesome things that you guys are doing. It's really incredible for Cherokee County, and I hope we get to sustain it. I hope it sustains you, right? Like the numbers are there. It's good that you're going through these growing pains. These are good growing pains to go through when you have so many people come out that you have to sit down and kind of regroup and say, oh, how do we organize ourselves a little bit better from here on out?
Well, and I think it's also brought some people together that wouldn't sit around the table before this happened.
Right.
There's a lot of older established businesses in and around the county that aren't always necessarily happy with some of the demographic changes going on, but it's going to change regardless. That's the one thing that's always going to continue is exponential growth and exponential change. You don't have a choice about that. So it's actually brought old business communities and young business communities together, especially in those smaller areas. And now they're saying, okay, how can we work together? So there have been some, I would say, unintended positive consequences in that now that people are actually standing in the same room together, they're talking about other things, not just this, but like, hey, what's going on with this? Or what do you think about that? And so there's other conversations taking place that are leading, again, to continued development in our community, continued open communication, and we'll see what happens.
It's amazing what happens when, something bad happens and multiple people from different political parties rally around each other, ethnic groups, values, beliefs. When something bad happens, it's really amazing to see, the positive relationships that can form.
Absolutely.
From something like that.
It's exciting.
So Joe, I really appreciate, you telling us about yourself and what you're doing in the community. I think it's very evident at this point how important you are to Cherokee County and the microeconomies that are just blowing up right now. So we like to do a little thing at the end of the show.
Okay.
Called the speed round, right?
Scared.
So you shouldn't be scared. It's not that bad. It's easy questions, right? We're going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
We're going to set the timer for 60 seconds.
Okay.
And you're going to answer as many questions as you can.
Okay.
I'm telling you, there's only 10 questions.
Okay.
So we're waiting for the timer to be set. And boom. Okay. What's your favorite way to spend the weekend?
With my kids.
Perfect. What type of music are you into?
Anything that doesn't suck.
What was the best vacation you ever took and why?
Went to Fiji because it was honeymoon. It was an amazing place, and there was limited electricity.
Where is the next place on your travel bucket list?
Ooh, wow, that's a huge list. I would say right now it's going to be to take our kids somewhere as a family out of the country. We're not exactly sure where yet.
Awesome. I guess, what are your hobbies and how did you get into them?
Golf, because I played it growing up and was a golf professional for a number of years. Reading, mostly nonfiction, because I think reading something that isn't true is stupid. And then working with, various things in the community and, constantly trying to learn something new.
And what was the last show you've been watched?
Ooh, The Umbrella Academy. We actually finished season 1 last night. Amazing show. Can't wait for the second season to come out.
Time's up. Good job, man. You did very good. You did good. I'm gonna have to go and watch The Umbrella.
Please, it's awesome. It's awesome. Great show.
Yeah,
Netflix.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna let you plug it away. Plug all your businesses and anybody out there that you want to plug, and we're gonna conclude this episode.
Awesome. Well, I represent Front Porch Advisors. That's our company. But more importantly, for those folks that are listening and are more interested in the Cherokee Gives initiative and platform that's going on, they can go to Cherokee.Gives is the website. It's not .com, it's .gives. If they're interested in donating to the cause, they can go to Cherokee.Gives/donate. They can use debit or credit card that way. And they can also find us on Facebook, Cherokee Gives a blank. If they have any questions or want to find out how their community can participate, please feel free to reach out to us. All of our contact information is on there, and we'd love to chat some more.
Awesome. Sounds good, Dan. This is Brandon McGovern with Portraits of Atlanta, and we are concluding this episode with Dan Thrailkill.
Thanks, Brandon. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, Dan.
Portraits of Atlanta is sponsored by Select Realty. Select Realty is proud to present Honest Offers. Honest Offers is more than just an instant cash offer on your home. We let you know how much you profit when you sell by owner, traditionally, or a cash offer. With Honest Offers, you'll know which selling method is right for you, the way you want to sell. We're revolutionizing home sales with Honest Offers. Contact us at 770-509-0265 or go to selectrealty.com with 2 L's in the word sell.